Okay guys, the Honda Insight diesel conversion, 2000 Honda Insight. Malone Tuning did my ECU mobilizer delete and tune. TDC Shop did my wiring for it. Those two things I did not want to try to figure out. Sent TDC Shop the whole wiring loom, sent it back with the kind of plug and play standalone unit. I got the key in it already, so the gauge is the only thing that I use is the actual fuel gauge. You can see it hiding there, so that still works great. About 660 miles to a tank. Pretty darn good. 65 miles to the gallon. The scan gauge here plugs into the OBD for the Volkswagen, so I can get all my vitals, coolant temp, RPMs, miles per gallon, throttle position sensor, all that stuff. This car was a 5-speed hybrid, pretty rare. The car was working great, 266,000 miles. Decided to pull the motor out and do something different. The Volkswagen gas pedal over here, the clutch pedal, I was able to modify the lines to and from the reservoir, and I was able to mate that up to the Volkswagen, you know, clutch and all that stuff, so it worked out pretty well. ECU hides here behind the glove box. Those wires there are wires so I can put lights to tell me low oil, coolant temp, things like that. The ECU for the Volkswagen's right there. This car did not come with AC, but the heater does work and the fans work. Did a black headliner in it, painted it with some fabric paint. Just wanted to do something different. Radio works, is still stock. It has some kind of weird aftermarket speakers. The seats are in good shape for the year. Little staining, but not too bad. Other than that, car's great. Bang through all the gears, no problem. Reverse, all that stuff. What is that thing? The e-brake works great. Yeah, let's see, check out the back here. This car is super lightweight. It's always kind of blows me away when I close the doors. It's a lot lighter than the Mark IV. So this is where the hybrid battery used to sit. The spare tire is still there. This was a cooling port for the batteries and the electric controller. This stuff used to be hidden when there was like a platform. You couldn't get to the batteries and stuff, but the stock fill neck for the tank, I modified the pickup in the tank for the return and supply for the diesel engine, and it worked out well. There was already lines there, and I just used the stock fuel lines. Batteries in the corner, I used the hybrid cables to get a positive up to or back and forth to the front to charge it and supply everything. So the ECU is standalone, so all I do is give it keyed on power, and then car starts right up. Still feels the same way. Made in Japan, kind of like that little sticker there. But the car looks, you know, from the outside pretty darn stock. You can't tell that it has a diesel in it. The front does sit a hair lower than a stock one, but I did not modify the front yet, or the suspension. It kind of rides like a car on coilovers, kind of more of a little firmer feel. The intercooler's hiding behind the passenger bumper. I got some tape up there for a little aerodynamic playing around. Volkswagen radiator, the intercooler and stuff's all still there. The fuel off of Caddy, that's the bracket, and then the coolant reservoir is the Honda right here, and then the coolant radiator cap is for a Polaris Razor. I was able to kind of make that all work. But you can see the motors, you know, basically stock, EGR delete and a race pipe, things like that. Motor mounts are hiding down here. These were Honda location. I was able to kind of modify it. They're way stiffer than I wanted, but the tolerances are pretty darn tight with this motor. It's kind of hard to see down in the hole there, but the tolerances are pretty tight, and I just didn't want to deal with the motor mounts banging into the frame. And so it's the durometer, the rubber is pretty stiff. It's kind of like a control arm bushing for doing aftermarket suspension or something like that. But yeah, the stuff's all kind of the same under here. You know, I didn't really mess with the Honda stuff at all. Just kind of modified the wiring just the tiniest little bit. I was able to get, you know, the motor just to barely clear the hood, and that worked out well. So that's it. Yeah, when the hood's closed, let's close the hood here. When the hood's closed, you know, you can't tell that it's anything's really different other than what you got here. So let's start it up real quick, and it's got a 2.5-inch exhaust on it and all that good stuff. So it is definitely noisy. I usually wear these earplugs when I'm driving because the firewall is a lot thinner and there's way less insulation. And so key's already on. I always check to make sure it's in neutral. I'm pushing the clutch, but I don't have a safety on the clutch, and I just have to make sure it's in neutral. So fire this bad boy up here. And that was the first startup of the day. I haven't out started it yet, but you can hear it's definitely a diesel, though you get a little vibration. It's kind of hard to tell on the steering wheel, but I'll let the sound speak for itself. Let's let you hear it's getting 99 miles to the gallon. I usually drive the car off the throttle position sensor. But yeah, we'll let the sound speak for itself there. But that's it. Yeah, the Honda Insight TDI. Great little car, runs awesome, and you know, kind of sporty to drive around. It's definitely a tiny little car, so kind of fun. But it is for sale. I don't know when people will be watching this video, but as of 2020, the car's for sale right now. Check it out. Fun project. It's a tiny little car, and I just do more that I need a little bit bigger car, and so I just wanted to see if it was something I could do and achieve in a project that was kind of fun, and I did it and it worked, and now somebody else can enjoy it. So the Honda TDI, yeah guys, if you have more questions, let me know. I can always shoot videos of different things, but that's it.